Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Mercy, and on this channel I talk about nursing, lifestyle, beauty, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So if you would like to join my family, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and also hit the notification button so you never miss another video from me again. So today's video is going to be a question that a lot of people like to debate on, and it came to my attention that I haven't made a video on that topic yet. So I decided to make this quick video to explain this topic to you guys. And the topic we're going to be talking about today is what is the main difference between an ADN or a BSN RN. As I always say in my videos, when I tell you these things, I'm telling you based on my experience and what I've come to learn and know about nursing. So with that being said, I'm going to be telling you guys a list of things to differentiate between an ADN and a BSN. So first of all, I'm going to say an ADN is an associate's degree in nursing, and a BSN is a bachelor's degree in nursing. As I always say, I started as an LPN and I worked my way up. So I'm not being biased, I'm just telling you guys my honest opinion and what I've seen and learned. Oh my God. I'm sorry, I try to hold that for as long as possible, but it just wasn't working. And I'm human, so if that bothered any of you guys, I apologize, but I had to sneeze. Okay, so let's get back to the video. As I said, the difference between an ADN and a BSN is that the ADN has an associate's degree in nursing and the BSN has a bachelor's degree in nursing. So let's talk about schooling. In my state, to obtain an ADN degree can be anywhere from 2 years to 3 years. But I've mostly seen 2 years. So to obtain a BSN degree, on the other hand, can be anywhere from 3 to 4 years, but I usually see 3 years. These also depends on if your school requires prerequisites or if you've been taking classes at another college. The school that I went to does not require a lot of prerequisites. So if you got your ADN from the school that I went to, which was Chamberlain College of Nursing, it would take you 2 to 3 years. If you got your BSN from there, it would take you 3 to 4 years. And you also have to think if you passed all your classes and graduated on time. If you're failing classes, that's a whole different story. It can take you as long as you want it to take you. But those are the typical time difference between an ADN and the BSN. Loan-wise, of course, if you spend a longer time in school, you're going to pay a lot more than if you spend a shorter time. So if a BSN and an ADN student went to school, the ADN pays less, the BSN pays more because the BSN spends more time in school. But again, that is if you are passing all of your classes and graduating on time. But I've seen ADNs and BSNs spend exactly the same money. I've seen some ADNs spend more than BSNs because of their life circumstances or their financial issues. Pay-wise, this is one of the places a lot of people argue a lot. There is not a big difference between an ADN and a BSN. For example, if an ADN gets, let's say, $24 an hour, a BSN can get anything from $26 to $27 an hour. So usually it's about $2 to $3 difference. And I'm not talking about shift differential or experience or anything like that. So if an ADN and a BSN was starting at the same exact time, the ADN might get a few dollars less than the BSN. So when it comes to the job setting, let's say a BSN and an ADN got hired at the same time. If there was a manager or leadership position, the hospital or facility would prefer to give it to the BSN than the ADN, because BSN students, we have to take some leadership classes. I think that's one of the biggest difference. You have to go through a lot of leadership classes and you also have to take a lot of critical care classes. So if you both got hired at the same time, the BSN gets the manager or the leadership position versus the ADN. This is where things can be a little different. Usually, I want to say 85% of the time, the BSN gets the leadership and the manager positions and the ADNs don't. But where this is different is, let's say a BSN got hired at this job this year, but there is an ADN who's been working at that same job for about 9 to 10 years. If there was a leadership position like a charge nurse or a manager or something like that, usually that position goes to the ADN because they have more experience than that BSN. So those are the few unique cases where you might see an ADN and a BSN where the ADN has a higher position than the BSN. The charge nurse position, the leadership position, education position, a lot of those go to the BSN versus the ADN. A great thing about being a BSN already is that a lot of the hospitals are requiring their nurses to obtain their BSN or higher. And this is happening in a lot of states. So the reason that I would prefer for someone to get their BSN if they think that nursing is what they want to do is because of the fact that, number one, if you want to work in the hospital long term, you're going to ultimately have to get your BSN. So it's preferable if you already have it. If you're moving from state to state, it's preferable if you already have your BSN because you don't know what state and what hospital is going to require you to have your BSN. So that way you already have it and you don't have to worry about maybe going back to school to get it. And as I said, not all states are requiring this and not all hospitals are requiring it. But ultimately, hospitals are moving towards more BSN than ADNs. When I was an LPN, I used to hear a lot of people say that LPNs are being faded out of the hospital. And everybody said that was a rumor. They said, oh, that's just a rumor, that's just a rumor. That was back in 2012 when I started school. This is now 2019. And it's almost really hard, and again, this is in my state, to find an LPN working in the hospital. So usually they work in long-term care facilities, home health, and rehab facilities, and other places like that. But the hospitals prefer their ADNs and their BSN. The argument I hear a lot is, a lot of people like to say BSN and ADNs are exactly the same. There is no difference. And I agree with that to some point, but I also disagree with that. Simply because they are not the same. If they were the same, they would be called the same thing. An ADN wouldn't be called an ADN. A BSN wouldn't be called a BSN. There is clearly a difference. Yes, the pay rate might be different. And also, if a BSN and an ADN work on the same floor, like a med-surg floor, a neuro floor, or critical care or whatever, they usually do exactly the same thing. But with that being said, if one of those two people wanted to go back and get their masters, it's easier for the BSN holder to go and get their master, and it's faster or quicker for them because they already have their bachelor's degree. Versus the ADN, they're going to take longer, maybe spend more money and spend more time in school. And also, as I said before, those positions are going to easily go to someone who's a BSN than an ADN holder. And another one, if you were planning to move out of state or move out of town, or sometimes even travel nursing, some of them are asking their nurses to be BSN holders versus ADN holder. ADN is a great degree, and a BSN is also a great degree. There's no competition, there is no comparison, there's nothing there. But the thing is, the truth is the truth. A BSN is not an ADN is not a BSN. There is a little bit of difference, and that is the reason they call them different names. But with that being said, if you're an ADN and you're working at a hospital, usually if the hospital is requiring you to go back and get your BSN or your bachelor's degree, they'll usually help you out with that. So they might pay your full tuition, or they might pay a certain percentage of it or something like that. But remember too, when those programs are offered, usually there's a catch. What I've seen a lot is that if the school pays for a certain percentage of your school fee, or if they pay for all of it, they might require you to come back and work for them for a certain amount of time. And if you don't fulfill those requirements, you might be required to pay back. I feel like I keep saying required, but I don't know what other word to use. So with that being said, that is it for this video. I hope that answered you guys' questions. Thank you guys so much again for watching. If you have any questions at all, please leave them down below. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much for your love and support, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.